In this video, we talk about what makes No Rest for the Wicked a unique game, unique action RPG game to be more precise. Here you can see me kind of playing Diablo 4, which I stopped playing quite a long time ago. So generally speaking, there are kind of a different when it comes to action RPGs. There are different ways to make them that makes them unique, and some developers choose one and not go with the other. So for example, if we give you a few of them, for example, Isometric ARPGs, think about something more Diablo series, Path of Exile, where their uniqueness features includes, for example, a viewpoint, offers kind of a strategic zoom out perspective, allowing players to see a wider battlefield and plan attacks, and the focus is on loot, often emphasized in grinding for gear and equipment with random stats and properties. The other thing related to character builds, kind of provide you with lots of loot, but basically each one kind of can give you a tip to min-max your build and make a very powerful build. It basically offers you deep character customization through skill trees and item synergies, letting players tailor their gameplay style based on the build that they're actually creating. This also further enhances when you share it with the community and people try to search and find together with the community some very powerful builds to dominate. Next one, kind of an action adventure RPGs, think something like Hyperlight Drifter, Dead Cells for example. They blend exploration and combat seamlessly. They focus on fast-paced action. Combat is often more frantic and requires precise controls and reflexes, offering a higher skill ceiling. Basically, with the other one, you need to well think and create a strong build, and if you're able to do so, you're going to just dominate everything, in most part. It also focuses on environmental storytelling, so there's a narrative is often kind of a moving into the world design and exploration, encouraging players to discover secrets. Other ones include, for example, more hack and slash RPG, or at least the focus is on that. Think about like Devil May Cry series, or Bayonetta, and their unique features kind of focus more on stylish combat, rewards players for performing impressive combos and skillful maneuvers, with a focus on kind of a spectacle combat. The other thing is character movesets. There you have extensive combos and special abilities that allows you for more creative combat expression. Those games usually offer high difficulty, often kind of caters to a more hardcore audience with challenging enemies and boss fights. Now we also have Souls-like ARPGs where you think about, well, Dark Souls series like Bloodborne for example, Elden Ring and others. So their uniqueness is kind of more focused on atmosphere and difficulty, more oppressive atmosphere and punishing combat that creates a sense of tension but also rewards mastery. They also have interconnected world design. In most part, again, worlds are often designed encouraging exploration and backtracking as well, but again, they also feel rewarding. There's also lore exploration, which storytelling is often subtle, especially in Souls games, but do require players to piece together a narrative through item descriptions and environmental details. Sometimes there are also collectibles in the world that tells you more about the narrative and you need to discover it. But more generally speaking, there are also open world ARPGs. You can think about something like The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, Elder Scrolls series. And again, they have more expansive worlds, offer vast landscape to explore, filled with side quests, secrets, and hidden content. Also, player choice and freedom is important here, where gameplay emphasizes on player agency, allowing player to approach quests and challenging in different ways. Of course, they can be mix and match, right? With Elden Ring, for example, being Souls game and open world as well. There's also emergent storytelling, where worlds are often designed to create unexpected encounters and emergent storylines, making each playthrough potentially unique. And of course, there are also survival RPGs like Valheim, Re-Rising, The Forest, Don't Starve Together, Ark Survival Evolved, and let's say Outward, for example, Kenshi. And again, these survival action RPGs are more kind of around resource management, so they require players to manage hunger, thirst, and other survival needs, adding an extra layer of challenge. They also focus on world interaction, where world can be harsh and unforgiving, forcing players to adapt and strategize for survival. Some of them also offer some sandbox gameplay, where it's often open-ended, with players creating their own goals and objectives within the harsh environment. So having said all that, what makes No Rest for the Wicked different, interesting compared to, well, the different ones that you are very familiar with? Keep in mind that some of them are for mix and match, and I think what the developer tried to do here is actually bring many elements from many different genres, though they actually work well in action RPG games and are fun and interesting, and based of course that on lots of user feedback, and try to combine everything into something that feels different, because again all these combine to create something that feels fresh and new. One thing I noticed, and I think kind of a more of maybe inspired by also Metroidvania, about verticality and exploration. And rather than making something that is stages and just feel like a walking simulator, it will be more about, you know, paying attention to the details and the environment, and kind of maybe hide something based on, you know, the use of light in order to make exploration kind of a different, unique, exciting, and very rewarding. The other thing is, this is probably inspired by Souls game, which is a brutal, precision-based combat. So while some ARPGs lean towards hack and slash or button mashing combat and more about, you know, very min-maxing the build, No Rest for the Wicked seems to be aiming for a more deliberate and challenging approach, describing as kind of a brutal, precision-based. And of course, because the developers are known for their amazing animations in their previous games, this would be kind of you know, something that people probably might have expected, that we're going to see a game that, you know, we have emphasis on animation-driven attacks and timing and skill execution in order to succeed. This should, by the way, appeal to a wide audience, both who love action RPGs in general, but those also who enjoy higher sky ceiling and a focus on mastery, like Souls games. That being said, they still want to probably bring something that is now inspired by Diablo as well. We're still going to find loot, and going to be stats on items, and it's going to be like more of the top-down view. If you love games like Diablo, you're gonna most likely like No Rest for the Wicked as well. But for me, I think the developer is kind of focused more on the less is more design philosophy, where many action RPGs kind of bombard players with complex skill trees, tons of loot, with you know, obscure stats and overwhelming crafting options. So No Rest for the Wicked, well, it seems to aim more kind of more streamlined approach, focusing on impactful player choices and clear consequences that could make the game more, let's say, accessible and engaging for new players who might find traditional action RPGs overwhelming, but still providing which challenge, and you know, especially when it comes to, you know, timing combat, which Souls games are known for. So instead of just going to a wiki and copy paste the build and just make it work and that's it, and maybe try to optimize it by farming for non-stop farming for items here, both again the items that you find, but most importantly your skill that you're going to get as you continue playing and improve, will give you the sense of rewarding. So it's still combine also loot and creating a build, but also make it very rewarding, making the game skill based. So you're going to enjoy both of them. So it should feel, considering again what I feel when I play Diablo and what I feel when I play Souls game, it should be a combination of the two. The other thing which is very important, again coming from a studio that is known for their amazing artistic design in games, is a focus on crafted world and characters. So compared to maybe open world action RPGs with vast landscape and No Rest for the Wicked, seems to be more putting emphasis on handcrafted world. Again, everything is kind of a more hand-drawn and very handcrafted, compared to a world that, you know, just kind of let's say it feels like it's extended and artificially created just to create lots of space. So basically, if you won't waste time, every moment you're going to feel unique and interesting. And this could lead also to them implementing more tightly woven narrative with intricate storyline for each location, memorable characters and hidden secrets to uncover that feel more impactful and more frequent compared to a game that is just, you know, designed to artificially extend it, let's say it like that. The other thing that is very unique is, and this is something that I'm really excited about, is more, let's soft class system, or go beyond the rigid classes. Kind of more try to give players the option to be more dynamic when it comes to changing the way they enjoy playing as they play. and discover new items, for example. So traditional action RPGs often confine players for predefined classes like mage, warrior, but No Rest for the Wicked embraces kind of more player agency by offering a flexible character development system. Mastery of specific weapon and skill takes center stage here, allowing players to forge their own playstyle. For example, if you find a certain weapon, it will actually define some of your movesets. So if you find, for example, maybe a sword, you're just going to have ability to roll, but if you find, for example, double daggers and you based on dexterity, you'll be able to kind of dash out of trouble very fast. Other things like stats like strength, dexterity, and intelligence directly influence weapon effectiveness, opening doors to a diverse range of character builds. This freedom empowers players to experiment and create character that truly reflects their preferred approach to combat and exploration. And by the way, regarding world design, this actually reminds me, when you see Elden Ring, it actually carries kind of a more traditional open world type of design. Inside, when you start exploring, you see all the intricate ways they created the pathing and the mazes. That's what actually made Elden Ring such a remarkable game, because when you start playing, it just seems open world, beautiful one, but still an open world. But only when you get inside, you can see the design things that just, you see something and you might only discover how to get it when you reach to the end of the game. It's just that crazy. So in that aspect, I think it would be quite similar. Of course, it's not going to be the same when it comes to the level design, but when it comes to attention to details to make exploration satisfying, I think it would be quite similar. They also want to please some other players. They want to have, well, their own house in the world, and you'll be able to invest resources in upgrading your town, unlocking new vendors, crafting stations, and other benefits, and have your own place in the world, which create kind of a fascinating resource management dilemma, which some players like. Again, it's not going to be everything, but it's going to be part of the game. So should you prioritize personal character growth or contribute to the, let's say, collective good by improving the town for everyone in the shared realm? The decision-making layer adds another dimension to the gameplay, which again makes the game interesting and unique. So how does it compare to other action RPGs that I mentioned here? Well, first of all, compared to isometric ARPGs, while No Rest for the Wicked might share some elements like loot and character builds, the focus on verticality and potentially more streamlined mechanics could set it apart from the rest of it. Compared to action adventure RPGs, the emphasis on exploration and potentially intricate world design could set it apart from the fast-paced, combat-focused approach that some action adventure RPGs feature. If we compare to hack and slash, for example, the focus here is on precision and potentially less emphasis on flashy combos, could differentiate it from the stylish spectacle of some hack and slash RPGs, but maybe it's going to inherit for some, maybe some weapons will have something like that, we need to wait and see, but overall it's more close to a Souls game than hack and slash, for sure. And if you compare it to Souls-like action RPGs, No Rest for the Wicked might share some elements like a challenging atmosphere, very kind of more dark and exciting. Of course, this also, by the way, enhances the visual effects, which I really like. Same goes to Diablo and many others. That just makes visual effects looks really beautiful because it's more dark and grayish. But those who like storytelling games, for example, so this handcrafted world and potentially less cryptic storytelling can make it stand apart. Some people didn't like the way the storytelling is made in Elden Ring, so here it might be more, easy to understand what's going on and more straightforward to the player. So overall, No Rest for the Wicked seems to be kind of carving its own niche within the action RPG genre by offering a blend of features like vertical exploration, precise combat, more streamlined design, handcrafted world with rich narrative that could appeal to players seeking a fresh and engaging action RPG experience. And you can see with all of these things that the developer want to go with something that merges different genres. So the aim was kind of, it seems like, to create a unique experience by merging elements from various games, combining aspects of action RPG like Diablo with features from Souls-like titles and even Monster Hunter. So again, this genre melding approach could lead to an experience that feels fresh and unexpected for players. They also really focus, and this is very important, they also really focuses on meaningful player choices, which I personally really love in games. This means that kind of moving away from overwhelming loot system and complex skill trees, and instead they seem to be prioritizing impactful player choices with clear consequences. This could streamline the gameplay loop and make character progression more engaging. They also want the combat to feel, well, more brutal and of course precision based, basically speaking, which suggests again the focus on mastering character movesets and timing attacks and strategically maneuvering to overcome enemies. This could be appeal to players who enjoy high skill ceiling and challenge, and definitely this is something that really makes it kind of stand out from the rest of action RPGs, leaving of course Souls-like games aside. At the end of the day, what matters is how it feels like with all the combination of all of this, and we need to wait and see and play. But if you take into also account the great experience they have in creating beautiful handcrafted balls, and they have great experience when it comes to beautiful and precise animation, which can be amazing useful for this type of game, and taking into account that they have time to really observe all the great games that actually came, especially in the past 5 years, and create something that really feels unique and interesting for the player and learn from other games mistakes. Hopefully this will be a great combination of lots of good things that mesh together to create a fantastic action RPG game. We need to wait and see, but overall I'm in day one.